It's Jackie knowing the truth. I was just talking on live a few minutes ago. And what? I don't even know. Oh shit. So what the cards were. You know what? When I used to go to church, I used to always ask myself, now what the hell did you learn? And I could always find a message or a lesson out of it. But I noticed when I would ask other people the same question, even my mama and shit, and I would ask them what they learned, my like a older person most of the time would most of the time would give me an answer like, we learned about Job and how he went there and went to the store and bought Mary the basket and Jesus died for our sins. But I would get a message out of it too, and I would hear the basic ass lesson and message out of it too. And sometimes I wasn't able to get messages out of it because they weren't able to talk to my innocent mind because I was a child and they were very indoctrinated and heavily uninnocent and shit, and years of indoctrination and different understandings, and that's a lack of innocence. But anyway, the point of even bring that up was because that's the same type of shit for when I pull cards and shit, the message of it. And the whole point of the message is to help me have clarity. So ain't that the whole point of you supposed to be going to church? And if that ain't the point, then what is the point? And at some point, wouldn't part of the point, because the point would be to learn too at church. And if you learning, then eventually you're supposed to learn how to do something on your own. And now that you know. And if you haven't learned, what the fuck is like, if you can't do it for yourself? Because at some point you don't need tarot cards. I just do this because I don't be knowing what else to do on live sometimes, or when I'm doing a video. I don't have a lot of energy as far as me knowing how, being in a collective type of pulling out the energy, so I would use cards first. But that's a tool. So I'm quite sure that we already know that religion, I know, god damn. In my mind though, I always be assuming everybody know. But then it baffles me when I look in the chat, or I'll hear something on TV, or I hear somebody even in my actual life will still have the same indoctrination and won't be able to see past it. But I haven't experienced that in 2024 for really. Other than people, yeah, I have. Yeah, I have. Yeah, I have. So that baffles me. That baffles me. Anyway. I'm not going to edit this video at all. Not going to edit this video because I just be wanting to talk out my ass sometimes. And it'd be hard for me to do that on live. I don't know why. No, it don't matter if somebody in there. Not as better when somebody's in there. I thought it was better when nobody was in there. But I don't know. It just depends on how I feel. Shit. That shit crazy. So this is me getting used to that. And getting used to myself in the rawness of it. And not being filtered and edited and colored and shaped and shit. And being satisfied and happy with what I have explained and how I've explained it. So this is me doing that and tiptoeing into that. Whether it sounds crazy or not, I don't know. If you can relate or not, it don't matter. I will upload this video though, in its fullness. See, you hated my, anyway, shut up before you decide not to upload them. Okay. With religion, I know Christianity specifically, since I used to be a Christian and went to Christian Baptist churches and shit in the South, the home of goddamn real religion. Downs will give them that old time religion, the home of that type shit. It's a feminine energy. It's that's a feminine type of it puts you it puts you in a feminine space. You have to be in a position of receiving and being vulnerable. That's the Christian trait. It would be a feminine energy. And without any balance either. You're always the sacrifice and shit. And somebody, you always got to turn the other goddamn cheek and shit. That's why men, you don't see a lot of men in church. And I know I haven't. When I was growing up, I didn't see a lot of men in church. The men that I did see, and that's probably why a lot of men are gay, and why a lot of pedophilia and goddamn gay, not this, but see, I went to churches that were a little bit more, I'm not stop lying. Even the church I grew up in was shit, but I always didn't, anyways, that ain't the point. I did go to a good church though, and, not, people weren't necessarily feminine, men wise, but it wasn't a lot of men though. It was like only the pastor that was consistent, and an old man. And at that point, when you're older, you are in a more vulnerable state because you're old. You know, you have already accumulated, have already got many, because feminine is many. You've already had many experiences to where you can sit down now. So, yeah, you would be in a more negative space, the more negative attraction type space. You would be the more negative, you would be in the more negative end of the spectrum, the feminine energy. It's a really, as a goddamn Christian. And if you want a man, do you want a man? So you can't just, and wherever your man is at, you have to be willing to support and uphold that and help him with that. But if you're looking for, if you're deciding to be in a space of being a Christian woman, you would have to be able to settle for a bitch ass nigga then, because that's all you'll be able to attract. So then, you know, you're not even supposed to be the one that's controlling certain shit and setting certain standards. Now, we are supposed to set standards, but certain standards aren't to necessarily be set by women. Certain women are supposed to already be willing to accept the standards because that's what they want. So you got to put yourself in a space to be in a space of where you already are, where you're at, where you're wanting to be. Whether that's with a man or with a job or anything that's external to you, that's going to create some type of something that gives you stability and that supports you as the woman. So when you can't find that stability in a man, you can find it in other external things. But whatever is giving you stability, if it's not something that you are willing to, if the terms and agreements to it is not something that you're willing to accept, then you're in the wrong relationship or situation or scenario or whatever, job or whatever. Whether you're a man or a woman. Men and women work with these feminine and masculine energies. But it's like a balance though. You have to have some equilibrium. And if you're going to stand on something as far as what you put on your soul, your religion, which I don't put nothing on goddamn religion, but that's what you would be doing as a Christian or whatever. Even when you don't even know what you do, that's still what you're doing. When you do that, you got to be willing to be, and you got to know what the hell's going on. And that's why things are how they are at the end of the day. When you come to certain conclusions, that's why you're coming to certain conclusions, because you're in the wrong, you're doing things, you're not realizing what you're doing. But you can't come to full conclusions until you realize, this, God ain't something. God ain't goddamn Jesus or none of that shit, since we just want to talk about religion. Or this nigga just ain't gonna never be shit. I can't do a shadow work for him. I can't goddamn make him be a man. You can't do that for a person. So you can't do nothing but what you can do for yourself. And you can't do that leaning and depending on anything. You're supposed to be able to lean and depend on universal law and being a witness to that. And knowing that it is what it is, and things come and go, and they come back around and they show their faces as they should and what they always will. Like that type shit. So anything other than that, you kind of straddling the fence. You, by default, you'll find yourself in a position straddling the fence. When you come to your conclusions, that's what it would be. Oh, I was bullshitting. I was bitch, I didn't even know what the fuck I was doing. Sometimes it's good to not know what the hell you're doing. But if you're starting off in the wrong space, and you're starting off in the wrong space when you're starting off at somebody else's space, you're starting off at the midpoint, not understanding what it is that you're even agreeing to. And deciding, okay, this must be what God is, or this nigga, he's a man, he's in a male body, so he probably is gonna know how to lead and guide correctly. No, bitch, if that type shit. Ooh, I got a lot of editing to do. And I said I wasn't gonna edit shit. I'm lying. I lied. Sorry, I lied. I lied. Bitch, I lied. Bitch, I lied. Bitch, I lied. Anyway, I remember when I used to start editing my videos that I would always post the unedited version as well as the edited version because that was just me keeping it real. And at this point, it's like, do you still got to do that? So I probably lied. I am gonna edit the fuck out this whole. No, I ain't gonna edit the fuck out of it, but I am gonna edit it and cut out the bullshit because there's a lot of bullshit in this video. So, but it's still a vlog, so some of the bullshit gonna stay. Most of the bullshit finna stay. You know, it's just the empty spaces I'm gonna delete. I ain't gonna delete nothing but the empty spaces and yeah. I ain't gonna goddamn putting a whole lot of rainbows and magic and mirrors on them either though. It's gonna be a regular goddamn video. I don't know. It might not be a regular video. I don't fucking know. But it's gonna be different. So let me stop tripping because I be wanting all my videos to be different. You know. So let me stop tripping. I want all my videos to be different. My damn Gemini and Chiron type shit. Goddamn. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. But by now, I just don't see people when I'm speaking. I automatically assume that I'm talking to people who have no choice but to understand where I'm coming from because they're human just like I am. Or are they? Or am I human? So at that point, it's like, you know, that word, that's just a word that doesn't describe who you actually are. And sometimes you're talking to people that are nothing like you, especially when you're on the internet. Because not that you are what you attract. Somebody got me straight. You know, I be in them comments, but somebody got me straight in the comments one time. They ain't get no nasty attitude, but they changed my understanding. When I said, you are what you attract. When people say you are what you attract, they be like, no, you're not. You ain't what you attract unless you want to be. You want to be that shit. And in some of the words, that's what he's saying. You want to be that. Oh, shit, you can be that, but I ain't that. But at times, I can be that, which I know that it's the polar opposite of it, too. But since we're living in a world with so many different variations, we may be in same similar spaces, but we're still not necessarily the same. We don't have to connect vulnerabilities in the same way. Whether it's polar, sometimes you don't even want to connect at all. You know what I mean? And the fact that you are even around a certain shit, vibe, energy, something, sometimes let me speak for myself, pisses me off with me. Like, damn, how the fuck? And I don't want to be looking at it too deep like that because then I get into the judgmental element of it. And me saying, why the fuck would I attract some shit like that? You know what I mean? Bitch, who I think I am. You think you're God? So at some point, it's like, these things, negative or positive, they play a good and bad role. And what you think is angelic and beautiful and divine and just perfect right on point is not sometimes for others. Or it needed to be that way so that it could be negative and fucked up and terrible in the long run, or vice versa. And it needed to be negative and fucked up and tore down and torturous and infected in now so that later it can turn into what it needs to turn into. That mold could turn into beautiful yeast you can eat. You know, I don't fucking know. But you can't never judge shit. We know that. But you can create it to be however you want it to be, no matter what your situation is, no matter what it is that you're in and how it may look at the moment. You can decide that this is because it need to be like that. Bitch, fuck. That's what you decided. Nobody can tell you different if that's what you know, because nobody's experiencing it to have that confirmation that you will experience, that you will get based on what you have declared. But anyway, down to the minimal part of it though, when it comes down to the actual micro levels of your life, and when it's time to put those things into subjection in the moment. Like, I've been doing this whole time. Let me not get too personal. I want some water, and I could have sworn. I made sure I had my water with me. Anyway, I'm just shuffling these cards as if I'm pulling them. I'm not finna pull nothing. Sometimes my mouth's too dry. Wait a minute. I gotta get me some drink. Wait, hold up, bitch. Pause. My bad. Now, what I was finna say? While I'm sitting here pondering the void, I just want to say, see, this is why I be editing the fuck out my videos, because I just hate that I can't speak and it just flow. and just be a complete thought. You know, maybe that's my feminine energy. I don't fucking know, but yeah, I don't know. That's probably my Mercury. I don't even want to point to something and say that's what that is, but it's something that I have to work on in this lifetime. Being able to communicate and flow my thoughts and all that type of fucking bullshit, whatever. Anyway, get y'all out my business. Just changed my mind that fast. Oh shit! I just changed my mind that fucking fast, Lord. I said I was gonna make sure. Anyway. I don't know what to talk about. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, you are what you attract. And I do know that in the polarized perspective of it, that I could attract polarized opposite. But I don't even, at some point, you don't even want to attract certain shit. You don't even want to oppose certain shit. You don't want to fight with certain individuals. You don't want to have these opposing thoughts. You want to be through with it. You want that shit to be over with to the point where, yeah, I see it, but I don't give a fuck. And that's how sometimes you are not everything that you attract that's around you, because like I said, life is so vast now, and people and energies are so vast, and the newer energies that are being birthed and developed and coming into the world all the time are so vast to the point to where you can't think that you're going to necessarily connect with everything, even if you wanted to, whether you wanted to and if you didn't want to. You can't you have to, that's where you have to have your own individuality at, and your Aquarius type energies and shit. That's the reason why we're in an Aquarius, that's the reason why we're here. That's the reason why we're in the age of Aquarius at the moment. And even Aquarius expands, because Aquarius is known to rebel and oppose. But at some point, Aquarius don't give a fuck about rebelling or opposing shit either. And a mature, high octave type of Aquarius at some point will be beyond any of that shit, and not no negative way or no positive way. Who gives a fuck? It's dead. Turn the light switch off. Turn the internet off. Cut the Wi-Fi. Bitch, you a child. You know what I'm saying? Like, you cut the Wi-Fi to your children. Cut that shit, because that type. Aquarius can be on that. I said I wasn't gonna edit the video, but I lied. I lied because I lied because that's kind of like what I do too. That is a part of something that I enjoy doing. And I ain't gonna do too much though. But I do like the flow of it. I like the video to flow. And since I don't mind doing that, like, do it. Anyway, what are we talking about? Oh, but yeah, I lied because I like the video to flow, and it's not alive. It's not alive. It's a video. And I'm random. So it could be like a micro vlog of my 30 minutes in the car. Yeah, it's like a 30-minute vlog. A 30-minute car vlog. Yeah. So that's what vlogs are. I mean, I know that's what vlogs are, but do people do 30, when people say 30-minute vlogs, they're just vlogging 30 minutes, and they may edit it and talk. Okay, I get it. Okay, that makes sense now. Gemini type shit. See, I be trying to find my niche. It'd be like right there in the middle, and it's a certain little spot that I be trying to for it to be for it to be right. I be trying to find that niche though. And your whole life cycle may be the accumulation of that overall in some aspects, to the point where some things you will continue to develop and not necessarily throw away completely. Some things have to be shaped and molded and carved along a time span of 20 years, whether you know that's what you're doing or not. Once you get there, you'll see, oh, this is something that has been taking place and has been being constructed ever since I was 4 years old. I remember. Yeah, I remember. be having so many things to talk about when I'm not in front of a camera, nor do I be having the time or the opportunity to do it. And I be like, damn, I want to talk about that. And now, I was making notes of them, but I haven't been doing that for the past week. And after a while, the notes that I make, they get outdated and I don't care anymore. Plus, that's over with anyway. So, yeah. I've been having a whole lot of family revelations here lately. Weird shit. I don't even want to, that's too deep. It's too deep. We're not going to talk about that. No, Jackie, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. See, I like to use myself as an example, but after the fact type of example, to where I can speak in third person. And when I'm in the middle of a lesson, I can't necessarily, unless you're close to me and I feel like I'm in a safe space, which I don't have many safe spaces. That's why I'm here speaking about a lot of things now, but to get some of it out. But some of these things are too sacred to where I would need to have a safe space to speak on them. So I speak to myself about it. And then I'll gain a lesson out of it. And then I'll see how that same lesson applied to even smaller examples too that I can use as the way I can explain it, instead of using the most deepest vulnerability of it, which is not necessarily a vulnerability, it's just you in my business too much, you know? Because once you heal it, it ain't necessarily a vulnerability. Shit, if it came down to it, we'll speak on it. But it's like, you still in my business a little too much. If you want to know all that, bitch, it's not your business. It's too deep, you know? It's too much. Nobody even wants to know, TMI. Half the time, I don't be want to know. What else? Oh, yeah, we ain't gonna talk on that yet. All I can say and will say is that these cycles be evident even before you were here. You can connect certain cycles to your previous lifetimes if you can see the cycles within the cycle. Like if you can see the generational cycle that goes on beyond you, you can see them in your cousins and your first cousins, and like on certain sides of the family, and how you can relate to them in the way that you can see this shit play out with your children, and how you can alter that shit by altering yourself and altering previous lifetimes too, based on you being aware this time. You know, shit be deep. So that's why I ain't ready yet to speak on my certain. I ain't never gonna speak on my specific situations, because for one, these situations I'm gonna forget about them eventually. When I die, when I'm dead, I ain't gonna really know the specifics. I will remember the lessons, however. So that's the reason why I don't necessarily even care to even elaborate on the specifics of the details of the flunkness of life. I don't even sit on them. I try. It bothers. That may bother me more than anything. The fact that I have to even sit in the flunkness of the specifics and not know why in the moment. But that'll hold me down, knowing that there is a point. There is a point, and you know that there always is a point. You've realized that ever since you can remember. That's one of those cycles or mechanisms that I can remember, even being before I can even remember talking good. Knowing that, oh, this happened for a reason, and I'll find out later. I'm alive for a reason. Why is this shit? I'm thinking about this because I will eventually find the answer to it. No, like that type of shit. Those real innocent thoughts, the innocence, the purity of it, type of mental frames and mentalities and lines of reasonings, the first way to go down. You knowing that things come full circle and they come back around, whether you can see clearly now, you will eventually. Knowing that, and knowing that you see it clearly, because there is no such thing as time, and somewhere, some space, you already do know. Something knows, you're just not aware of it because of where you're at in it. Knowing that, I knew that as a baby child. So those types of shits. Not being able to put words to it, but now we've accumulated, the world has accumulated to where we can put words to these things now, to these knowings, and have confirmations of them, and not thinking that we're crazy or we're just weird, but knowing, oh, everybody has these types of patterns in their thinking. That's another mechanism. It's just that some people are not necessarily aware of them, or they haven't done enough shadow work to actually be able to process them correctly, to express them, and for it to be understood from themselves and others right yet. They don't know yet. That type shit. So we're gonna do that. Yeah, we're gonna do that. I'm learning that even speaking right now is an art of like freestyle, which I already know that. I already learned that too. And that's the intimidation of it. See, my Chiron is in Gemini. And Gemini is my sun sign. So that not only is that like a it ain't no fear. It's like I'm being treated by my Chiron by even just talking about it right now in the moment. So let me get over it first. Or let me see it first. Let me be in the right space to we ain't talk about that right now. You ever wonder what your how do I ask? Let me not ask that question like that. The address number, the numerology number that I grew up in for the address, when I add my address up, well, the numbers of it adds up to 11. Have you ever thought to correspond what that meant to you, like growing up, if you lived in one household? So I lived in the same house my entire childhood. But even after I got past that childhood and got grown and started moving into different apartments and whatever, I look at the number. Especially now after I know what the hell that shit is for and how to use it, I would make sure I'm nosy, so I look at my friends' goddamn address numerology and shit. I'm nosy like that. But yeah, pay attention though. Pay attention. Don't get too manic on shit, but do pay attention. Keep your eyes open and be aware. And don't be scared to look at shit, but don't necessarily sometimes we be so scared that we be trying to defeat certain shit so deep, so hard to where we'll jump in too deep and be doing it wrong. It's good you got the nuts and balls to do it, but don't put too much, don't be flunked out when you do it though. And see, that's where the fear come in at, because you don't want to be flunked out when you do it. So how do you stop from doing that? Just do it. You just do it. You just do it. You just do it even when you are flunked. You just do it. And eventually you won't be flunked. We know that. We know that. That's a mechanism. We know that. So that's what the hell going on right now. That's the energy that I'm in. That's the vibe that I'm... just do it. Like Nike back in the 90s. Just do it. Anyway, I think that's enough. What else you want to talk about real quick? What time is it? It's almost 12. Let me see. My dreads. Let's talk about that. So I was wondering, should I do the knit? Not the knit, but the crochet. My boy cousin told me that I should. But I had this girl at the gas station up the street, and her dress was so pretty. I asked her, and she was like, don't do the knit. They're going to thin your shit out. You just, and which I did, I had styled it, I twisted it up and put them in them, whatever them goddamn knots is, barrel knots. But I got too excited because they was taking real good. She was like, it's gonna lock up. You just don't do the crochet because it's gonna thin your shit out. You know, just when you style it and do the knots, whatever you fucking call them, let that shit stay like that for a substantial amount of time. But I'm looking at it like, bitch, okay. So I got I kind of wish I ain't had this shit shade on the side. But until then, that ain't ugly though. That'll work. But see, my back of my head is big though. Got a big ass motherfucking. And I'm gonna need to get my shit real deal, laid and all. Don't worry about it. Anyway, but it's gonna lock up though. She right. I'm glad she told me that, because I ain't really want to do that anyway. Glad she told me that. Glad she told me. I'm so glad she told me. And I'ma lock my shit up one more time. And I don't want to keep twisting it up either, because that will thin it out too. So, and I wish I had just left my shit. First of all, I should have did it right. I didn't even really do it right because I didn't know what I was actually doing, and I didn't know if that was even gonna work. So, but I had twisted them all up though. I wish I had took my time and did the barrel knots correctly, or at least left it like it was. What time it is? Okay, and I'll holler at y'all. Peace. Holler at you later. What the hell you was even talking about? I don't know. So many things. I don't know. Random.